The Lord, may the words of my mouth and meditation of each and every one of our hearts be acceptable in your sight, for you are our strength and our Redeemer. In this letter to the church of Philippi, Paul writes what some have referred to as his resume. He states his qualifications for being someone who's close to God. And this is what he wrote. If anyone else has reason to be confident in the flesh, I have more. Circumcised on the 8th day, a member of the tribe of Benjamin, people of Israel, a Hebrew, born of Hebrews, as to the law, Pharisee, as to zeal, persecutor of the church, as to righteousness under the law, blameless. Now, if we were to interpret that for modern day church, we might say, someone describing himself might say, I was baptized when I was a little infant. I was born into a family that has been United Methodist since birth. I am United Methodist Christian. I follow all the rules in the church. I defend my church against any kind of enemy. And I help out at the Paschal Supper, and I help out at the Fall Fair, and I make soup for Super Bowl Sunday, and I do all these kind of things. Now, we'll look at that, and we'll say, that person's a good churchman. They're there all the time, they care about the church, they do what they can to support the church, and that makes them a good Christian. What Paul is saying here, and what we kind of see too in the story with Jesus and Mary, is, yes, these are the things that people look on externally as being important and churchy, if you will. But going through the motions is not the thing that's important. Are these things good? Yes. But by themselves, they don't mean anything. See, Paul, as he says in this resume, was a Pharisee. Now, Pharisee was a Jewish lawyer. These folks were men, they were exclusively men, who their job was to make sure that the law was observed properly. And exactly what did it mean for observance of the law? Let's say, thou shalt not do any work on the Sabbath. What exactly does that mean? You know, I took something out of my pocket and I dropped it on the ground. Is picking it up work? Is walking to church work? Is driving my car work? Tori and I go up to the RV show at Rock Community College every year. It's where we bought our pop-up, and we'd like to go and see what's going on. We tend to look at the big fifth wheels because that's probably going to be retirement housing for us. And it's located in Airmont, New York. And the community in Muncie is right there. The community in Muncie is a ultra-Orthodox Jewish community. And this year we went on Sunday, and something looked different. We finally figured out what it was. We didn't see a lot of Orthodox Jews walking on the sides of the street. There's beautiful sidewalks. They end at a certain point. And they go from the temple out. And you can see on Friday evening, lots and lots of people walking. Why were they walking? Driving a car on the Sabbath is prohibited because it has been determined that that is work. Walking? Well, walking is a necessity. So what they did is they figured out, okay, you can walk this far but no farther. And that term has been called a Sabbath day walk. So it's permissible to walk on the Sabbath. Those nice sidewalks, that's why they end in a certain spot. Because that is a Sabbath day walk. So you as a good Jew could not live beyond that. And that is what Paul meant by righteousness under the law. God bless you.
Thank you.
As to righteousness under the law, I'm blameless. Because he followed all the rules and regulations perfectly. Now, Jesus didn't come and say, you don't have to follow these laws. These laws don't mean anything anymore. He did not say that. He said, you should follow the law. As a matter of fact, I did not come to end the law, but to fulfill it. Following the law is important. But he also said, that's not the end all and be all. We do not get right with God by following a series of rules. You know, the old thing is making sure that all the boxes have check marks in them, right? And then you have more check marks on the good side of the ledger than the bad side of the ledger. That's how a lot of people view it. What Jesus says, yeah, it's not about check. It's about being in touch and in contact with God, with God. How do you view why do you do what you do? You know, do you follow the law in order to make sure that I am in a right place with God? That's my rationale for doing this. This is what I want to do. Because I need to get the check marks. So my life is about the check. Or is my life about helping people, finding out what the things of God are, the concerns of God, making sure that my life is oriented in a way where I'm addressing those things and doing things in order to please God rather than to please people. And that's illustrated too in this story with Mary and the perfume. Mary and Martha and Lazarus' house, Jesus is there. And Mary takes this really expensive perfume. And you notice Jesus said she bought this for the day of my burial. So she got this, she put aside money until she had a year's wages on the side, and then went and bought this perfume in order to show how much she cared for and loved Jesus. Judas, who was to betray Jesus, saw this and said, you know, you're wasting money. Jesus said, leave her alone. Her heart was in the right place. She was doing these things to show her love and care for God, not for any other reason, but because she loved and cared for God. The presidential primaries in recent years, I'd say over the past 20 years or so, with the rise of the religious right, have become a kind of a lesson in what it takes to get elected in certain parties and things of that nature. It's been said in the Republican Party that you have to tack so far to the right to be so conservative in order to get the nomination of the party that you stand a pretty poor chance of actually getting elected in the general election, because people are not that far to the right or to the left, the vast majority. So people tack back to the center. Doing that extreme thing ends up having people saying a bunch of things and kind of almost pandering to the religious right, and talking about what my faith is and how my faith affects what I do. And I'm not saying that these people are saying things that are not true. But I'll contrast an election from quite a few years ago, and it was when Gerald Ford was running for re-election. And his Democratic challenger was a peanut farmer from Georgia. A peanut farmer was a Southern Baptist, and he taught Sunday school and preached in his church. And very, very active and very, very upfront with his faith. And he talked about it an awful lot in his campaign. The advisors to President Ford came to him and said to him, you know, this Carter guy is talking about his faith all over the place. You need to talk about your faith. And what most people didn't know in the country, Gerald Ford, every day, when he would go to the Oval Office, the first thing he did was he spent time in prayer. And whenever he had a major decision to make, he would pray. His faith informed who he was as a person. When his advisors came to him and said, you need to talk about your faith in the campaign in order to get elected, because this Carter guy is pulling ahead and the polls are showing that's why. You need to use your faith as part of your campaign. Gerald Ford said, my faith is not about a campaign, it's something personal to me. It's not something I put out there for public consumption. And he refused to do it. He ended up losing the election. Some people said that might have been why. But to him, his faith was something that was personal to him and something that guided the way he lived, not something to be used for political points in the campaign. That gives us a lesson, some kind of lesson we're hearing here from Paul, that we are to have our faith touch and impact every single part of our lives. You know, not, okay, I got my God stuff over here, and I have my work stuff over here, and I have my friend stuff over here. No. You might have your house stuff and your friend stuff and your work stuff, but your God stuff should be over and in all of it. If we are not fully about God, then the things that we do, the things that we say, will not attract people to Christ, but rather will drive people away. And so during this time of reflection that we call Lent, as we get very, very close to the Easter celebration, I put it to you to look at your lives. See, how does the God stuff interact with the day-to-day? Does it inform everything you do and everything that you are? Or is it something that you trot out once in a while? God tells us it should be fully about what we are and who we are, and whose we are. You reach that standard? Or you got some work? Let's pray. Lord God, we give you thanks for everything you do in our lives and the ways in which you hold us and call us to accountability. We ask you that through your interaction with us, through our reading of the scriptures, through our interaction with others, might we be brought more fully close to you. And might our lives reflect that in all that we do. And God, as we come together to look at who we are and how we are, our minds are brought to thoughts of those we know who struggle in a whole lot of different ways. So God, we ask that as we struggle in these ways, you infuse us with your Spirit. Help us address concerns in ways that you would have us do. That we might be more committed disciples. And for those who are struggling with all kinds of things, Lord God, and come raising their names, that they might feel a sense of your presence, and that we might be your representatives with them. For all those who are struggling with diseases, Lord, in your mercy,
hear our prayers.